Hey guys, welcome back to series where we are discussing IPR and cyber law paper solution for the year 2016. Now, in previous lecture, we are already done discussing about question 6 sub question A. Now, from this particular lecture, we will start discussing question 6 sub question B. Remember, this is the question which we are going to discuss now. As the question suggests, what are the duties of subscriber of digital signature certificate? Now, as we know, what do you mean by digital signature? Digital signature means if I want to transfer or if I want to send or receive any electronic documents or any data in electronic form, then to maintain the integrity of those data, to maintain the purity level, and also just to make sure that that data is from intended recipient only, to make sure the identity or authority of that particular document, we basically use digital signature. Now, if we want to add digital signature on any particular document, then we need digital signature certificate. And if I demand for digital signature certificate, then I should also specify my requirement, like for what reason I'm demanding for such kind of a certificate. Remember, this type of certificate is not available to any XYZ person. This certificate is only issued to people who basically works or deals in confidential data, and that is also for some specific type of businesses only. If they are doing some business in a legal way, if it is not in some negative interest of our company, or in some negative interest of our country, or if those documents or exchange of those documents are not anywhere going to hamper the basically it does not hamper anyway to our public welfare, then only this type of certificates are issued to any particular person or to any particular company who basically deals in such type of documents. Now, the person who basically issues this type of certificate, that person is called as CA, that is certifying authority. And to whom this person issues this type of certificate, that person is called as subscriber. So if basically I need a digital certificate through which I can send or receive data confidential in a confidential manner, then I am a subscriber for that particular certificate. And to whom I should ask for this type of a certificate? To CA, that is certifying authority. Now, it might be any big companies. There are many different CAs available in market today's time. For example, TCS also provides this type of certificates. So a person who subscribe for this type of certificate, those are called as subscriber, and a person who issues this type of certificate, those are called as certifying authority. Now, as you can see, there are some duties of subscriber. So basically, if I subscribe for this type of certificates, then there are some duties, there are some protocols which I have to follow. Which are those protocols or which are those duties which subscriber should follow without fail? So as you can see, first thing is generating key pairs. That is one of the most important part, where any digital signature certificate. So what we mean by before we'll just discuss about key pair. What do you mean by key pairs? As we know, if we are dealing, if we want to transfer any data in electronic manner in much secure way, then we use a technique called as encryption. That means converting readable text or readable documents in a non-readable format. Now, to convert this type of a document in a non-readable format, we basically use a technique called as encryption. And to encrypt some data, we need a key to encrypt those documents, and as well as at the same time we also need a key to decrypt To make those documents in a readable format, we also need a key. Key means something like a password, you can say. So for this reason, we need keys. Now in symmetric encryption, we use same key for encryption as well as for decryption, but that is not much secure, and that is the only reason we use second type of a method, that is called as asymmetric cryptography, where we use two types of keys: public key for encrypting the document and private key for decrypting the document. So if some person wants to send some documents to me, then that person is going to use my public key to encrypt that particular document, and then once I receive that particular encrypted document, then I can decrypt that document using my personal private key. Remember, public key known to everyone, private key known to subscriber only. Now, the very first duty of digital signature certificate subscriber is to generate this key pair, where we need to generate one public key which is directly going to align or directly going to connected with my private key. That is first duty. As you can see, you can just read out the same thing is written here. Second thing, acceptance of digital signature certificate. Now remember, if I'm accepting something, that means I'm also agreed with terms and condition which is provided under or with that particular certificate, and that is the only thing. As you can see, a subscriber shall, remember, when we use shall word, that means it's a compulsion, it is not any voluntary act. We have to compulsory follow this particular rules or regulations. It is enforced on subscriber. So if I'm accepting the document, then a subscriber shall be deemed to have accepted a digital signature certificate if he publishes or authorizes the publication of digital signature certificate to one or more person. So basically, I'm going to publish or I'm going to make this thing known to some of the person that I have accepted this particular document. Or we can also add it in repository. As we know, CA basically maintains repository, a database of all the certificate which is issued by them to millions and thousands of subscribers. Third thing, as you can see, third point as written here, otherwise demonstrate his approval of digital signature certificate in any manner. So one of the most important part is there should be some proof that subscriber officially accepted his certificate without any problem, without any you can say there are no error which is present on that with respect to that particular certificate. So if officially subscriber accepting that particular document, then we should have some proof. That is what this particular point states here. Next is, by accepting digital signature, the subscriber certifies to all who reasonably rely on information contained in digital signature certificate. Now, as we know, if I try to apply for any particular type of a job, and if they demand some type of a documents from me, or if they ask me to fill up any particular form for the interview round, then I need to fill up one sign up form where I'm going to provide all my information. Now at the end of that form, we also need to click on I agree with all the terms and condition, and whatever detail I'm providing here, all those details are true on my knowledge. So those type of some terms and condition we have to accept. The same way, if I accept digital signature certificate as well, if I'm a subscriber and if I'm accepting those things, that means whatever detail which is present on that particular certificate, those all details are also correct. If those details are correct, then only I'm going to accept that particular certificate. So if there are some misprinting or misunderstanding on that particular certificate, and if without checking or without making any notice of that those mistakes, if I directly accept that particular certificate, that means those mistakes are also accepted by me. under my knowledge. So if any problem happens in future, then subscriber is only responsible for the same. Remember this. So as you can see, the subscriber hold private key corresponding to public key listed in digital signature certificate is entitled to hold the same. So in my knowledge, I know which public key is linked with my private key. So I'm accepting this particular point, and hence I have accepted that particular certificate as well. All representation made by subscriber to CA. So whatever details I've provided while applying for that particular digital certificate, those all detail provided by me are true. If anything defined as some fraud or false detail, then at any point of time CA can cancel that particular certificate. Remember this point. So all representation made by the subscriber to CA and all material relevant to the information contained in digital signature certificate are true based on the knowledge of that particular subscriber. All the information in digital signature certificate that is within the knowledge of subscriber is true. I hope this particular point is clear. It is very simple. Next, as you can see, control of private key. Now, if one private key belongs to me, that means I am responsible, or basically I need to take care of that particular private key. That is what this point states here. So every subscriber shall, remember it is a compulsion, shall exercise, sorry it is printed twice, shall exercise reasonable care to retain control of private key. So I should take proper precaution to secure my private key. I cannot disclose the same private key to 10 or thousands of people, and then I cannot claim that my private key is stolen by some person. No, I cannot claim that. Why? Because I have not taken proper precaution to maintain the secrecy of that particular private key. If I am maintaining the secrecy of a private key, and then also someone tries to steal or someone tries to check out those private key, then only I can officially file a case against that particular person. Remember this particular point. If a private key corresponding to public key listed in digital signature certificate has been compromised, remember compromise means someone tried to basically break that particular private key, the subscriber shall communicate the same without delay to CA. So in case if I found that someone tried to misuse or someone already knows my private key now, then without any delay I should file a same complaint to CA. That is the only thing possible here. If I don't file any complaint, and if anything happens with some third person using my private key, then I am only liable, or I am only responsible for those losses or for those type of frauds. Remember this point. And now as you can see, we are done with this particular question. What are the duties of subscriber of digital signature certificate? I hope this particular point is clear. Let's discuss the next question. What are the functions of controller of CA? Now, as we know, if someone asks for digital signature certificate, then that person can go and file an application at one office. That office is of certifying authority, that is a CA. In our case, we already talked about TCS. TCS is a CA. Now, who basically gives authority to this CA? A controller. Remember, CCA. Who basically authorizes certifying authority to issue a certificate? CCA. This is the main body who is basically authorized to issue certificates. Remember this point. So let's just discuss a brief about certifying, a controller of certifying authority. A CA is trusted body whose central responsibility is to issue, revoke, renew and provide directories of digital signature certificates. Remember this point. As you can see, directories of digital certificates. Basically, CA is going to maintain one database where is going to maintain records of all the persons to whom he certificate is issued by this particular CA. It is a compulsion on CA. CA should maintain proper records of all the certificates detail to whom he basically provides his service. And if he revokes someone's certificate, then also the same detail should be present with that CA. If I have any problem, if I face any problem from my CA, then I can directly file a complaint to CCA that my CA is not providing proper response to me, because of which I'm facing some loss, or I have some problem with my CA, is not genuine, is always demands bribes from me. Any issue if I have, then I can directly file a complaint against that particular CA at controller's office. Remember this point. So CA means a person who has been granted a license to issue electronic signature under section 24. We have to at least try to remember this particular point. Now let's just discuss points one by one. As you can see, I have listed out here functions of CCA. First function, to exercise supervise over the activities of CA. Obviously is going to supervise those things. Certify public keys of CA. So basically, who basically provides public key to certifying authority? Controller provides it. Lays down standard to be maintained by CA. So here they basically provides rules and regulations under which CA is going to work. And if CA does not follow those rules or regulation, then at any point of time controller can revoke all the powers of CA. Specifies the qualification. Now remember, it is very important, it is very important task. So there should be qualification, a specific specialization should be required for the job of CA, as well as that person should be enough experience in the same field, then only that person can apply for the post of CA. There is an eligibility criteria which is specified here. Then on the same way specifies the conditions subject to which CA shall conduct their business. There is also points are defined here that we have to follow some rules and regulation, how we are going to follow or how we are going to conduct our business. We have to follow those points as well. The same way here also specify content of written or printed or visual material. Advertisements can be distributed or used in respect of a electronic signature and public key. They can advertise themselves as well, and few other points. So as you can see, specifies the form and content of electronic signature certificates and keys. So these are very basic points. Once if someone reads it, they can easily remember these points. Next point is forms and manner in which account shall be maintained. Obviously they have to maintain. There should be a proper form under which they are going to take a signature of subscriber, and those forms they need to maintain. So there should be form and manner in which account should be maintained by CA. The same way now it is the responsibility of that particular company to conduct yearly or timely audits on timely basis. Auditors are the main person who basically checks whether CA is working properly or not. Whichever certificate issued by CA or certifying authority, those all certificates are genuine, those all subscribers are also genuine. There is not any bribe involved while issuing those certificates. All these things are very important. Remember, if a CA is a fraud person, he's just issuing certificate just for a small amount of money, then he might issue the same type of certificate to any XYZ person who is working against the interest of our nation, and the same certificate, the same technology he might misuse for or to plan something disastrous against our country. As we know, many time many time our intelligence agency traces the calls of some terrorist, now where they are talking in some code language, communicating with each other in some code language, where they are planning of some blast or something. Now if some CA issues certificate, this type of digital certificate to those type of person, then they don't need to make a call like those type. They can easily encrypt those documents and send it over to any different countries, and they can easily plan most of those disastrous things just in fraction of seconds. So this is a very dangerous weapon if we do not take proper audits from our CA. That is the only reason. As you can see, other points are very simple. We can also a subscriber can also file complaint against a CA if we find that CA is not responding properly, or is not working properly, or is not following his duties properly. And also one compulsion that maintain a database containing the disclosure record of every CA. So controller is going to maintain one biggest central database where is going to maintain record and detail about each and every CA. I hope this particular question is clear. Now let's discuss the next question. One more thing, if you have any doubt or query, feel free to ping me on Tiru 1488. Sorry, you can ping me on this particular ID, or for more lecture you can directly follow me on this particular channel, that is YouTube/C/Tiruk Parmar. Next question which we are going to discuss here, which states or which ask about, as you can see, chapter 4 of IT Act 2000, Attribution, Acknowledgement and Dispatch of Electronic Records. Basically it talks about which precautions we should take while we send or receive any electronic document. There should be compulsion on acknowledgement if that if intended recipient receives our electronic message, and if that recipient does not acknowledge the same, that means we don't have any proof that our message delivered successfully. At the same way, when we dispatch or when we send our message, that time also we should maintain a proper record, and we should also inform recipient that we have dispatched this particular message. It should reach at your place within some specific amount of a time. So these are the main points which we are going to talk about, which are basically present under chapter 4 of IT Act 2000, IT Information Technology Act. As we know, most of cybercrime basically covers under this particular act only. So we'll discuss few broad points here. As you can see, I've listed out this broad points. So if it is not possible for you to remember all this sub points, then at least try to remember this broad points and elaborate this point in your own word. Remember, don't write totally a layman language. At least use some technical words here. Remember, we are dealing with a law subject, and it is very important that your language or your answer should reflect the same. So first point, attribution, which deals under section 11 of IT Act 2000. What do you mean by attribution? As you can see, an electronic record will be attributed to originator if it was sent by originator himself. So how we can basically make sure that this particular message is coming from some authorized party only, not from some fraud party is not sending that message. How can we assure that particular part? So as we discussed just in the previous question, that if a digital signature is present on that particular document, if sender's signature is present, then we can easily in short, the integrity of document is maintained, and we can easily assure that okay, this document is coming from authorized party only. So an electronic record will be attributed to the originator if it was sent by originator himself or by a person who had authority to act on behalf of originator. Remember, if we talk about big officers or CEO of some company, so they are not directly going to work on this type of details or this type of a work. What they do, they basically hire some manager or some technical assistant who basically works or sends document on behalf of this big businessman or behalf of this officers. So there should be one, we have to maintain that the message is coming from originator, a person from himself only, or from one authorized person who is basically working on behalf of that subscriber. I hope this particular point is clear. Now next part, as you can see here, where we are going to discuss about section 12. So what section 12 states here, the addressee. Now who is the addressee? To whom we are sending a message, or a recipient we can say, or a receiver. Addressee may acknowledge the receipt of electronic record either in a particular manner or a form as desired by originator, and absence of such requirement by communication of acknowledgement to addressee or by any conduct that would sufficiently constitute acknowledgement. As you can see, first point, recipient of electronic record either in a particular manner or a form as desired by originator. Now we are going to send a document in a particular form. There is always a particular standard which we have to maintain, and in absence of such requirement, if we do not have such requirement, or if we are not be able to send all the details in a proper manner, then we can directly receiver and sender can directly communicate over some other medium, and they can acknowledge the same. That is what written here. Now next broad point is, the originator has stated that electronic record will be binding only on recipient of acknowledgement. Now here what it states, that compulsory we have to maintain acknowledgement of recipient. If recipient does not acknowledge our message, then there might be chances that our message is destroyed while sending, or it might be not delivered at right location. These are the main two possibility, and hence maintaining acknowledgement is very important. As you can see, unless such acknowledgement is received, the record is not binding. This is the most important point which we have to remember. Now next point is, time and place of dispatch and receipt of electronic record is covered under section 13. We have to maintain from which time, on which time, and from which place we have dispatched or sent that particular electronic record. We have to maintain all this thing, and who is the recipient to whom we have sent that particular message, that is covered under section 13. As you can see here, a point which is provided here, dispatch of electronic record occurs when it enters a computer resource outside the control of originator, unless otherwise agreed between originator and addressee. So we are going to first we need to specify on which time we are going to send that message, and from which place, and to whom we are going to send that message. In case if we changed under any XYZ circumstances, if we change the place of dispatch of that particular message, that means instead of one computer I am sending it from some other computer, that means address is going to be different, IP address of machine is going to be changed. So in that case we have to also maintain the such thing, and we also need to intimate, or we also need to follow up the same thing to our recipient, intended recipient as well. If the originator or the addressee has more than one place of business, the principal place of a business will be place of business. So if I have multiple office of my company present in India, then there has to be one headquarter of my company, and that headquarter is going to be a main location. There we are going to, by default, we are going to send all the messages on that headquarter only. That is what it is written here. I hope this particular point is clear. And here we are done with question 6 of this particular paper solution. In next lecture, I'll start with question 7. Thank you.